These landlords have lost their everlasting mind. We have been living in this house for 2 years since relocating from South Florida. Faithful with our rent, paying on time. I don't ask for any maintenance because my husband was a maintenance supervisor and he's an HVAC technician. I'm hooked up. We get the renewal, and with all their bogus fees and all, they want to charge us $3,000. Mind you, just a few months prior, 4 houses down, the same house. It's twin. They rented it for under $1,900. Under $1,900. It was like $1,890. Well, I answered back and I told them that I could not afford that there was no way that I was going to be able to do that. They countered and said, well, what if we kept the rent the same? I countered back and said, how about you give me the same rent that you did with the other?
You gotta go. You gotta go. Based on how she's talking, I doubt that she's the never bother the landlord type, just based on how she's talking, because you're watching the other property where she doesn't say that they're even owned by the same person. So it's unclear whether they're owned by the same person. Sometimes companies will build the same homes in the same neighborhoods, but there may be different landlords. And also, you don't know what that, even if it is the same landlord, you don't know what the financing of that situation is like. Maybe the other house is paid off and this one isn't and has a mortgage. Maybe they were able to put more down on the other house and they can afford to rent it out for less. Or maybe when they negotiated their rent with you, because she said that she was in her lease for 2 years, that they gave you that price and locked you in for 2 years, but the market has changed. But it comes down to this. If you can go get a better deal somewhere else, why do you even need to get online and complain? Right? Like, you're not owed that property. Just go somewhere else. And if you can't go somewhere else, maybe that's an indication that you need to upgrade your income if you want to be living in this type of property. But I'm going to let her continue.
Other house, 4 houses down at like $1,890. Like, come on now. They had the nerve to answer back and say, we can lower it $50 with still having all of those inflated bogus fees tacked on. I'm still losing here. It is what it is. You know what? When one door closes, another one opens. And I know that my family and I, we are in God's hands, and that He will provide us a house that we can afford so that we're not drowning and a slave to just paying the house. God has everything in His hands. And these prices are dropping. And for the ones that are Delulu, I pray that you wake up and smell the coffee.
If the prices are dropping, why are you getting online making the video? Just go fill out the application. Go fill out the application for the properties that are dropping. And I hate when people start talking about God and using God in this way where it's like it's in God's hands and it has to be this mystery and we just have to leave it up to faith. You don't have to do that. It's in your hands. It is literally in your hands. Why are you? It sounds like you're overpaying. Like, even right now, it sounds like you are overpaying even before the renewal, that you're overpaying for the property. So I'm going to get practical here, right? I'm going to leave it away from her. I'm sure that she's a good person. Sounds like she has a family, and maybe she's just a little frustrated that things are rising. But I'm going to tell you what I did when my rent rose and we were paying too much. So we were living in an apartment and we were paying, and I think we renewed one time, and the rent went from like $1,800 to, it was going to go over $2,100 for an apartment. All right, cool. So we read that and we're like, all right, let me go look at the market and see what the market is saying. What can we get for this price? I was able to find a house to rent for about $200-$300 less than what it would have been for the apartment. So what did we do? We didn't get online and make a video about it. We went and signed a lease at the place that we wanted to be at because we saw that we could get better in the marketplace. So I don't understand why that isn't the solution. I don't understand. And maybe it's because I was the type of kid where when the teacher said, all right, class, read page 1 through 20 and write a report on that and give it to me by Friday. I was the type of kid that I did that. I went and did it. All the other kids started complaining. Blah, 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 blah. But not one time did the teacher ever say, you know what, y'all complained? It's cool. Just don't do it. So I realized that complaining does not actually solve the problem. So practical things. Do not pay over 30%, 33% of your income for your housing expense, okay? When you manage it that way and you're able to then have a little bit of a cushion. So if there is a raise, you're not desperate, or you're able to factor that in. So if you know you're going to be somewhere for 2-3 years, factor those raises in so that you're not sitting there desperate. Now you have to go move. That's one thing. Live within your means. Don't overpay for where you're living. 2, have an emergency savings fund. Be saving money. Have 3 to 6 months worth of funds saved up so that when there is that incremental increase, even like if your income hasn't risen, maybe you can tap into those funds so that then that can help you cover some of that until you're able to readjust and maybe go upskill and get a raise and do what you got to do so that you can afford where you're living at. The next thing, and this is important, you always need to be looking for opportunities at your job or in your business to earn more money. That means going after the skill sets that are going to get you paid. So I'll give you an example, right? It's very reasonable for someone to enter the marketplace and be getting paid $60,000. And within 2 or 3 years, you're able to upgrade your skills to the point to where you're making $80, $90, $95,000. And the way that you do this is you look at the skill sets that are required for the job that's right above where you want, and you job hop until you get that job. And once you get the job, after you've upskilled, now you're able to then afford a little bit more, but you don't want to increase your lifestyle, but you're able to now have that raise and start doing some of the things that maybe you weren't able to do when you were at your previous financial level. What this comes down to is making sound financial decisions. It's not about the best way to complain. It's not about, oh, the land, like, your friends aren't going to help you just because your no. Your landlord never once lowered the rent because you complained to your friends or got online about something. So you have to take practical steps to get where you want to be financially, right? That means maybe living in a smaller place, getting rid of that car payment, getting a lower car payment, buying a hoopty, doing what you need to do to where you're in a financial position so these type of things don't shake you. I can guarantee you this person does not have an emergency savings fund. And I don't want to make it about them. But what I'm saying is these are the type of things that can shake you to your core if you're not financially prepared. This doesn't seem like a person that is financially prepared. And I would look at your lifestyle first before you start blaming other people. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Should this person maybe downgrade in lifestyle and save up some money? What should they do? Should they stop pocket watching The Landlord? What should they do? Let me know in the comment section. Appreciate you. Make sure you tap in the Patreon. Information is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.